Let's begin with where we stand right now on Trump 2.0. How would you assess his performance overall?
Trump has been in the White House before, so he came prepared. He was ready to go. He had those executive orders, almost literally from the moment he was sworn in. And that's made a big difference. I think most of the things that Trump has done are popular with the public. People wanted change. They voted for change, and boy, are they getting it.
Indeed, they are getting changed. Popular with the public, but perhaps not so popular with some major U.S. trading partners. We've just seen these fresh tariffs being lobbied against Mexico, China, and Canada. Are we on the cusp of trade war 2.0?
Well, that's a complicated question because Trump clearly is in favor of tariffs. Remember that Trump does use tariffs as a negotiating tool. In other words, I do think that if he plays his cards right, he can force countries to do things that are both in America's economic and national security interests. He did that, by the way, in the first term pretty well with, for example, getting Europeans to pay more for their defense and getting Mexico to help more on the border. So he's done this before, and I think you'll see more of the same.
So how do you see them impacting the U.S. economy overall? Because things have looked pretty good over the last couple of years. Do Trump's tariffs risk derailing that economic momentum?
Well, I disagree with you on what you said at the end there, which is things look pretty good. I actually think the U.S. economy has been a mess, actually. I think inflation's starting to creep up again. We had 4 years where the average American worker saw no gains in their real income. Poor people actually got poorer. We ran up our debt by, $7 trillion in 4 years. But I do think that Trump has the agenda to get this done. So, for example, on the inflation issue, because that's been, everybody's talking about, Trump's tariffs will be inflationary. It is true that if you just do tariffs as a standalone measure, but, and this is a huge but, Trump is also going to be cutting other taxes. We're not doing the tariffs in isolation. In other words, Trump's strategy is if you buy something from Canada or China or Mexico or Europe, you're going to pay more for it. We're going to tax those things more. But if something's made in Pennsylvania or Ohio or Michigan, you're going to pay less. And so I think in the end of the day, those things will offset each other and they will not be inflationary. Now, here's the other key point here. Donald Trump was president for 4 years. And in the 4 years Donald Trump was president, the average inflation rate was 1.9%. So, and he did impose tariffs in his first term. So if all these tariffs cause inflation, where was the inflation when Trump was president already?
Okay, so expand on that a little bit more for me, because the overall economic ideology here is that Trump is going to be able to use these tariffs to basically punish trading partners, deliver foreign policy objectives, drive growth, achieve lower interest rates, and have low inflation at the same time. How can you achieve all of those things simultaneously?
Well, listen, there's a reason they call people like myself and Larry Kudlow and Art Laffer supply-siders. We believe the solution to almost all of the problems for the United States or any country is a supply problem. You have to increase your productive capacity. Trump is going to deregulate our economy. That's going to make the cost of production lower. He is going to produce a lot more American energy. That's going to bring gas prices down. Trump is going to try to get government spending under control. That's good for the economies. Here's the other point. When the United States gets it right, the rest of the world tends to follow. I guess I'm here to tell you, I think Trump's policies are not just good for the United States, but I think they will be good for the rest of the world. And I think we may be entering a new age of prosperity around the world.
Can I ask you about crypto and deregulation as well? Because one of the key themes that we're seeing here is Trump really softening his approach to crypto.
Yes.
What should we expect to see from this pro-Bitcoin White House, and how far do you think Trump is going to go when it comes to cutting financial regulation and really ensuring that this goes into the mainstream? Well,
I've not talked to Donald Trump about this particular issue, so I can't really speak for him, although I think your premise is right, that he's pro-crypto. And incidentally, that was not insignificant to his victory. And Trump did pretty well with the kind of young people view crypto as sort of the money of the future. And so Trump has grasped onto that in a very effective and I think wise way. And one of the virtues of cryptocurrencies which is why governments tend to not like cryptos, is they are a check and balance on the central banks around the world. Because when central banks screw up money policy, which they do all the time, now you have an alternative, and you can buy cryptos as an alternative. They're almost like the new gold, right? Now, are they risky? Yeah, sure they are, but so is investing in foreign currencies as well.
What does Trump's embrace of the cryptocurrency industry mean for the U.S. financial system? And as an economist, do you see some clear risks there?
I think it's positive.
It's positive?
By the way, I'm not here to tell people invest in cryptos because I'm wary of them. But here's the thing: the fact that Jerome Powell allowed the inflation rate go up to 9% in 2022 was a signal to the rest of the world, that the dollar is not a safe currency. And so this is why I think cryptos are so important. They are a safeguard against these central bankers like Jerome Powell inflating their currency.